My name is Joseph Kamata. I just turned 30, and at least one thing I did, well, before I turned 30, I got married. Towards the end of last year, got married. So I have a lot of experience in insurance. That's one of the things I do, and I run this company. It's called Kamata Entertainment School. Kamata is not very old in terms of how long we've been in business. I'd say about 5 years now. This is the 5th year. We are more of a one-stop shop for anything music related. We have a dance school that teaches pretty much all dances, salsa, ballet, contemporary dances, pretty much anything. We teach all music instruments from saxophone, drums, guitar, violin, clarinet, recorder, name it. Teach DJing, video mixing. We teach sound engineering and sound production. We teach video editing. So that's our coverage of the things we offer. Over the last 4 years or 3 years, I could say we've risen to become probably one of the biggest music schools in the country. We have the top rating on Google. If you Google School of Music in Kenya, we rank number 1. Right now I have about 22 guys that I'm working with. We're here in Westlands. We're in town. The town branch was the first one, but then we expanded. We came to Westlands. We are in Meru. So I have guys in Meru, have town, Westlands, and we are about to expand. In the next maybe 2-3 months, we shall be in Ngong Road and Mombasa Road. Then I'm also into another venture, but it's a pretty recent company called Kamata Capital, and we are doing venture capital. Over the last 1 or 2 years, we've been doing an annual turnover of about 20-something million. If I would come up with a figure, I'd talk of 50, 60, 70 million. I was born in Nairobi. I have 2 siblings who pretty much copied pretty much everything I did as I was growing up. I'm the firstborn. So I have my sister and my small brother. He's called Kemo. So as I grew up, I had a lot of interest in music, and I think I triggered it in them. And to date, we are pretty much doing the same thing. They are the Samawati band. My sister is a very good dancer. My brother, I don't know if you've heard the famous The Tima. That is his voice. He's the one who said The Tima, released it and it became big. I'd say we are a pretty musical family. That is me and the siblings. Our parents, I don't see them. I don't find them musical, but I think it's something that we developed interest in. We lived in Riruta, and then at some point we moved to kind of Ushago. My primary school life, we were in Ushago at a place called Karato in Gatondo. So I grew up to swim kwa rive, those Ushago things. As a kid, I don't think I really thought about succeeding or anything. As a kid, I was just going about the regular everyday kid stuff, and I admired the basic stuff that you find that you love in other people's homes. I wish that when I grow up, I'm going to buy my own 17-inch TV, colored. Those days, color TV was quite something, and a VHS player that you put a tape. That was pretty much my biggest dream, that when I grow up, I want to have this TV. So how kids think. That's pretty much how we all grew up. And I admired kids who are probably living in a more fancy way. They had bikes. When I was a kid, I didn't have a bike. But when I grew up, I want to buy a bike, and I have one now. And I do ride it over the weekends. I kind of wish to come back to Nairobi. I think when you're living in shags, there's that thing of you want the city life. But again, my mom is born and bred in Nairobi. Over the holidays, the way kids go to Shagoas would come to Nairobi, because Nairobi was our shags. So we'd come to Nairobi, and then tukifungua shule, we go back. And then we relocated back to Nairobi. By the time I was clearing primary school. So I was in high school in Nairobi. In primary school, I was a fairly sharp kid in school. So I was among the top guys. And then went to high school. I was in Mororia High School, and I started performing very badly. I don't know, for some reason, I think I was this guy who reads the last minute. Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, doing very badly. Then last minute ndio tunaenda kumalizia form 4. I chafua the market. So I got pretty good grades. And in high school, we used to do some illegal business. So that's selling biscuits. It was not allowed by the administration, but you had your way of sneaking some carton of biscuits and putting in your box and then selling to guys, because sometimes the guys who deliver bread were not delivering bread in time. So I did that, and I made some really small monies in high school. I was horrible in biology. I don't know, for some reason biology didn't work for me, but it was a compulsory subject in our school. We used to do one extra subject, and then if the subject that you perform worst is removed. So biology was removed for me. That was my worst subject, and I don't know why I performed badly in CRE. It's very funny how these two subjects are the subjects that my parents are good in. My dad was pastor, and my mom a doc, and I was horrible in biology. I loved physics. I used to think I'd be an engineer, and I really had this passion to become an engineer. You have this dream, this thing you want to do. You clear high school, you need talkers that can sleep for grades, and you're told the cluster points you're missing by I don't know how many points, and that's how I missed my engineering dream. After 10, I went to University of Nairobi, and also Strathmore, and did accounts. I went and did economics, but I as well did CPAs, and that was my life in school. I got my first job in an insurance company. And I worked as an accountant, and I gained a lot of experience in finance and also corporate structures. I left that company, got into another company, and the company had just started a branch, and they put me as a branch manager. But before me, there was someone else, and they did a certain turnover, and then I got in. I did more than 1,000% of what they had done in 3 months with my 1 month of being in office. And I think I did well. And I think I was really psyched up for this job. And only to learn that sometimes big companies have that problem of being bureaucratic and making really difficult. And that frustrated my passion for work. And I felt I should leave this company and probably drive my company. And that's what I did. And that's about a year ago. Kamata School started several years ago while I was in campus. I was at a what can you call it? It's like they used to call it a community. It wasn't really like a church or a fellowship. We'd call it a Christian community called The Journey. The Journey used to happen at Fungamano Hall. I was in University of Nairobi. I used to happen at Funga on Fridays. They really interested me because they used to play rock, and I was a big fan of rock. So I always used to attend The Journey. And I spoke to the guys who played in the band, and kind of got into it and learned a few things, and but I had a bit of previous experience. I was playing the keyboard. I learned in a music school. I was taken by my mom when I was in high school, and then from there, when I was coming to complete campus, I learned the stuff I could do, and it could be useful to people. My very, very first student, the first person I taught how to play keyboard is a lady that is in Mother-in-Law, the program. I find it interesting that she was my first student. And I think that was the time I started actually doing sensible business and making money. And then one of my aunties asked me to teach her children. And so I started teaching piano, I started teaching guitar. And from there, the idea started settling in my mind that I could actually probably get a bit more serious with this. I think this is the biggest risk I've had to take. It didn't make sense at all. To any sensible person, it didn't make sense. Doing this business, it makes no money whatsoever every month. It ate me up. I was employed, so all the savings I was getting from employment, it ate everything. It wasn't making sense. And actually, at some point I sat with some guys and they're like, why would you do this kind of business? It's not making sense. Our costs were way higher than what we earned. Probably someone I think I got a lot of support from, I don't know where. In terms of capitalizing the company, I got none. I basically capitalized 100%. And I didn't have the money, but I had to look for ways and cheaper means of gathering resources to fund what I want to do. And it was difficult, and it was very frustrating. But I stayed on. When it started, that was around late 2008. Over the first 6 months, I had that one client that I had gotten, and some kids I was teaching. Besides that, we got 0 clients for about 6 months. Nothing. I paid rent, I paid staff, I tried to buy stuff, and we got nothing. I was working with my younger brother, Kmo, and I sat him down and told him, the reason we don't have any money and you're not getting any business is because no one knows us out there. So I came up with a marketing strategy. At that time I was working as in an insurance company. I got a study leave. I was supposed to go and sit Section 4 exams for CPA. And I did something crazy. I did not sit the exams. I don't know what came to my mind. Instead of going to sit the exams, I got out there, looked for materials to print and write what we are. We teach music. And I didn't have a team. I didn't have guys that I work with. It was just me and my younger brother, who was pretty inexperienced because he was just off. He was in school. He was at USIU at that time. So I had to do the job myself. So I went from cyber to cyber, giving brochures, asking them to allow me to stick some advertisement. And I did the advertisement myself. I actually put posters around our estate. I put posters in Ngumo, guitar classes, and I didn't get any client for some time, but that did make a change. From that moment, 2 months from that time, we started getting clients coming to register. We saw you somewhere. We started getting calls. I want to learn guitar, keyboard, and we were off. And from that, our turnover grew from 0 to about 30,000 a month. We grew to about 100,000. And then I thought hitting 100,000 a month was such a great thing. It's something I was looking for. And then I realized it was nothing. Then sat down and said, oh no, we can't survive on 100,000 a month. We need to do at least 200. We did 150. I sat my guys, told them, we can't survive on 150, but we can be able to do 300. They say, no, you guys, you're joking. We can't do 300, how? So we set the target, and we actually went past the target in the time frame of 3 months. We were at 350. And then I realized you can't survive on 350. So I sat my guys, said we have to do 750. We hit 750, and we continue struggling. And we've hit probably now 1 million, and we're thinking we can't survive on 1 million shillings a month. We need more, and I don't know where the ball stops. I think I'm aggressive. Sometimes people meet me in the street and tell me, "You guy, you're crazy." The stuff you do. If you look at our competition, we are babies to our competition. So some of the schools have been there probably before I was born, and right now we are bigger than them. What has driven us from being the smallest to being the biggest is aggression. We'll do everything to be everywhere. We'll come to you when you're driving and ask you, can you please give us your ear and know who we are? We will come to your institution. We will come to you. We will be on the streets. Right now, our growth rate is well over 100%, our annual growth rate. And I'm thinking over the next a year or 2 years, we should be way above. Probably we'll be thinking Africa. It's aggression. I think that's something I have that I thank God for. Over the last slightly over 2 years, we have had over 3,500 students register with us. And not just in Kenya, we have had a big group from Rwanda who've registered with us. We have had a big group from Tanzania. We have registered students from DRC. And currently we have some who are taking classes. We have guys from Sudan. And interestingly, we have enough guys from Nigeria, which I find, because I'm thinking Nigeria is a little far, but they come. I suppose they get us online because we are constantly getting emails from guys from the neighboring countries. And interestingly, we don't have a lot from Uganda. but the other countries, we do have a lot of guys coming.
My name is Deborah Njoroge. I actually just started recently in August. I sing, but I just wanted to learn piano so I can, accompany the two. I had a friend who was looking for a place to do piano, and he had seen a lot of the signs everywhere. So I figured I'd try it out. It's been good. I like the people around here, very social. They're very creative, basically on the teaching methods and whatnot, so I find it fascinating.
I'm David Mushangi. I'm a music production teacher and the drums teacher. Music production, basically it's about studio work, recording, making tracks. How much is the cost? It's 29,500.
My name is Ricky Damas, stage name DJ Brown. We teach different bases. We have theory, we have beat matching, You have beat counting and scratches. For DJ course, it goes for 29,500, and it goes for 3 months.
Kusota. Many people understand that word. Kusota. Kusota is a sacrifice. You sacrifice to be broke. And sometimes I say, some people look at me and they're thinking, hey, some people have no idea how broke I am. And sometimes it's you have to be broke to actually move. Being broke meaning you're putting your money where it's going to repay later. So you actually end up not having any money. I think that those are some of the sacrifices I've been making that put me in a very awkward situation, but keep driving us. How we made our first million, it was in January. January is generally a good month for our business because so many people are trying to do new stuff. You want to learn a guitar, you're thinking, next year, I'm starting. Many people actually go ahead and start in January. So it was in January, and we had just done our quarterly strategy, the previous quarter, that between October and November. And we restructured a few things. I remember at that point, I had to look for financing. And we restructured our school, we made it look good, improved a few things, and we are ready for January. And when January came, at that point, we hit our first million, and it was really, really exciting. Yes, January 2012. Most money I've earned in a day, I would say is about 400,000. And I'll tell you how I earned it. I not only do music, I do insurance. Because got some deal that got me good money. So I could arguably say I earned it in a day, but actually I did negotiate with the guys a few days and then I scored. But then this business, entertainment business, on a good day, we'll do on average anything 100,000 or so. I've actually done pretty many ventures and learned how to fail. This being one of them, but then I can tell you 100 ways on how to fail while trying to run a music school. Because I've failed so many times until I've discovered a few ways of how to actually make it work. And I've tried other ventures. I took a franchise in a big supermarket and stocked beauty products. And everything headed south. I don't know, the way I thought it's completely different because I thought there's a big supermarket, so they have clients coming in. So once I stock, they'll buy my stuff. I stocked, they weren't buying. It was really frustrating, and I lost a huge chunk of my money, and finally I pulled off, and I got no return whatsoever from that investment. I have movie business. Even right now, I have a movie shop in Meru called Meruwood. Trying to go to the counties, I started another one in Embu called Embuwood. I tried that, and then I learned that it was difficult to actually run the businesses in the counties. The movie business, I did lose quite significant amount for opening branches in places where I couldn't manage. So right now I'm just running that Meruwood. There are some promotions I ventured into. I'm a bit aggressive in marketing, and I think, what do you think we should do? I talk to my guys and I'm thinking, let's buy these ads. And I've made mistakes of buying very expensive ads that have no returns. I've done events, and some of the events have... I know someone who's listening to me now and has done events, they know what I'm talking about. Events are crazy. If you're going to venture in events, you have to give yourself time to actually build yourself. And I've tried that, and in some of those, I've really lost a lot of money. I think I've lost about I've lost about $1 million in total. But I think it's a learning process for everyone. That biggest purchase, the DJ equipment, I think that cost me 370,000. I think the way I do my investments, I avoid the big purchase. Because I think the big purchase consumes your working capital. I'm very unlikely to purchase something that's going for more than $500,000. Well, of course the car, I got it for about $1 million shillings. But my first car was a Caldina. It was a black Caldina. I loved it. It was a 2000cc engine. I like a bit powerful car because that time I was young. I bought my first car when I was 24 years old, and at that point you bought your first car and you're really excited and you kind of enjoy racing on the road and trying to go up against other cars which are pretty fast. And that was my mistake because that's how I lost the car. I remember that day I was coming from Embu and going to Meru. We were doing ridiculous speeds, and I was going up against some guys who was driving crazy, who had a Prado, and I was wanted to show my car can also speed, and I rolled. And thank God I survived. So always tie your safety belt. I think that's what got me, what didn't give me injuries. And the car was written off. Yes, that was my first car, black Aldina. I really loved it. Right now I'm driving a Wish. Yes, I like space. The best thing about having money, I don't know whether I'm the best person to answer that. Because like I told you, the biggest sacrifice I make is being broke. Having money. Okay, you're able to buy stuff and you're able to move yourself forward and have a dream. The biggest advantage of being successful is pressure. You're under a lot of pressure. You've done business for a month and it's not every day you're going to do good business. There are some days you're going to do horrible business in a day. There are some bad seasons. A whole season can be low season and you have obligations, you have money to pay, you have very many employees putting you pressure they want to be paid, you have and you have to pay them. And you are literally going crazy. Sometimes I get under a lot of so much pressure and my wife doesn't like it. She starts getting stressed as well, which makes me uncomfortable because when I'm under pressure, I'm trying to tell her I'm not that stressed. And she's like, no, you're very stressed. And she gets stressed as well. So in the house, we're all stressed and the pressure is crazy. So in the process of being successful, you can end up being under a lot of pressure. My most expensive habit is in Meru, fiber bado, it hasn't flickered. So still have to use the modem. And I love downloading and watching videos and stuff like that. So if I put my modem and keep doing that stuff, at the end of the day, you spend a lot of money. So I stream a lot and I'm online a lot. And that sometimes is quite expensive. And I love good stuff in my house. And I love spoiling my family. That sometimes is expensive for me because to make your woman happy and you allow yourself to spend on her, it can be quite expensive. In Meru, we have I don't know whether I can call it a clique of friends. We are from Sifa. Can go have some fun with them in the house. I'm one of those guys who are always organizing plots you go have some kanyama somewhere, have fun with guys from church, and I think it's really cool. That's my way of unwinding. Bought a lot of equipment, and this is just a small part of the equipment we have. Now, that's a Clavinova piano. A Yamaha Clavinova piano goes for about 225,000. These small keyboards, Yamaha go for about 20,000. A Yamaha acoustic guitar, pretty much like this, goes for 11,500. Once you buy the guitar, you only buy the guitar. You don't get the accessories. So the accessories you buy kind of like the bag, the pleck, the strap. We have violin, saxophone. A saxophone goes for about 60,000. And we have lights and filming equipment because we also teach video and audio editing. We like being very flexible because we want to allow someone who wants to learn instrument do it at their convenience. And because a big percentage of our clients, maybe I would say like 90% of our clients are people who are in other careers. Like here we get a lot of doctors from the nearby hospitals who want to come and learn music. Some even politicians who come here and learn music. And we want to have a program that works for them. Each session is 1 hour. You choose when to come. You choose what time to come for your class and which days to come for your class. Dependent on your structure of attendance, in 3 months or 2 months you should be playing. We give you resources and materials that are visual and a lot of books, soft copy books. We give you go and read, and we give you a lot of stuff, and that including your registration, learning materials, the equipment, all the sessions, the band sessions and everything. Instead of charging you per hour, we give it as a package. You pay 17,500 for the full package, which becomes a very, very low price. We have a uniform rate for anything you pick. You want to do voice lessons, you pay 17,500, full package. I want to learn drum, saxophone, violin, clarinet, recorder, whatever you want, 17,500 full package. But there are some programs if you want to do sound engineering, or you want to do music production, or you want to do DJing, or you want to do those more technical programs. Those ones have a uniform rate of 29,500. If I wasn't doing what I'm doing today, I believe I would be an employee in an insurance company, because that's where I got launched, and I have a lot of experience in insurance, and I understand insurance, and I can give the best insurance product. If I was to start all over again, I think I'd do everything differently, because I've learned very many ways of how to fail. I've made wrong investment decisions. I've I've made wrong personal decisions. I've blundered in many times. I've lost markets. I've put my money in the wrong places. If I was to start all over again with the information I have and the knowledge I have, I'd do it so differently. So I would avoid the how to fail and try the how to succeed, and probably what I've achieved over the last 4 or 5 years, I'd probably achieve it in 1 year. I wish that my company becomes a mid-sized company in the next 2 years at most. Mid-sized company meaning we have an annual turnover of not less than 100 million. There's another company that we've started. It's pretty young, which is a private equity company. So we're doing private equity. I believe it's what should move us to the billion league. Most instrumental people, I would say one is my parents. When I was in high school in Form 2, my mom observed that pretty much when I went to church, I was around the keyboard. When we went to my auntie's place, I wanted to play the keyboard. My mom observed that I had a lot of interest in, because I'd always hang around where the music is. She didn't even alert me. She just came home one evening and said, I've seen you like keyboard and I've paid for you to go to Umbrella School of Music and study keyboard. That's where my journey began. I went, it was over the holiday in April, and I learned. And if that never happened back then, there wouldn't be Kamata School today. I think if you're a parent and you're listening to this, and you find that your kid, there's something he has an interest in, if you nurture it early, it could actually pay off in the end, like it has done for me.
My name's Francis Tanugekore, and I'm one of the tutors at Kamata. Actually, I was one of the students here. I used to learn piano and vocals, and right now I'm teaching piano, vocals, and guitar. Kamata is a musician, and he's also our boss here. He's so friendly, and he does everything the right way.
He's a good guy. We work with him as a brother, focused. He doesn't like fight over or force over something which he can't afford or manage to do.
Kamata as a boss, he tells jokes, but he's a very serious guy in terms of marketing the business. He has very weird strategies. There's another strategy we use called Waganga style.
The one thing that makes me different is that I'm different. I'm dynamic. I can do diverse things and run them at the same time. Like I said, at some point I was the manager in an insurance company, and I'm running a music business, and I'm running a cosmetic business. I think that makes me different in the sense that it takes a bit of discipline and aggression to actually be able to do stuff and make things move.
My name is Terry Kuria. I'm the receptionist and I teach partly video production. Kamata is a cool guy. He's fun. He's a guy you can go to when you have issues. You tell him your issues and he'll try to solve them.
Yeah, he chooses his friends wisely, and he's God-fearing.
Very hardworking. He works very hard.
That guy works like, he even forgets to eat lunch.
He knows what's happening on the ground all the time in all the branches. Yeah, that has helped him really grow. And offering the best services, really, yeah. The services really matter. When somebody comes here and sees the services that we give, they come back, they send people to come again and again.
Yeah, there are some challenges which are a bit difficult to handle, so it takes time to work on them, cope up with the business and with us also.
Dealing with challenges, he faces them head on.
He doesn't let the challenges affect him or affect the business.
Finds a solution to every problem. If the problem is financial, he'll find a way to get the finances. If the problem is the low season when we don't have so many people, he'll find a marketing strategy that will get people to come.
You see love can make you do crazy things. Ask my shoe, Rizakia Atu. And what I went through to buy you those rings. Ask my shoe, Rizakia Atu. Masaibu ninayoyapitia kukupeleka dina, wewe uliza kiatu. Nagadheri ninavyogatafuna, ati ndio vile nagagiza, uliza kiatu. Ask my shoe, uliza kiatu, uliza kiatu. Ask my shoe, ask my shoe.
Uliza kiatu, uliza kiatu.
Ask my shoe,
Uliza kiatu, uliza kiatu.
ask my shoe, ask my shoe. Uliza kiatu, uliza kiatu.
That's my shoe. Uliza kiatu. Wahenga walisema wataka waya. Twende.
I got inspired by Cop Mayor, the Book of Success, and I read it when I was pretty young. It inspires you to have positive thinking. And the ultimate best book to read is the Bible. I've actually recently developed, I think I'm now going to start trying to see what are the business ideas that are in that good book, the Bible. I read from Matthew 1 to end of Revelation. I read the whole part. Old Testament I've read in patches, and I'm thinking it does give you valuable lessons on how to carry yourself, especially for business. If you read, Solomon was a really wise man, and he gives you very good pointers on how to run your business and what to do and how to get poor and how to get rich. And I don't think there's any wiser book than that. Advice that I've gotten that I follow is life is hard, and I think that's it's really a reality that it's tough and you got to be rough. I love boxing. I'm a boxer. Every day I wake up in the morning. I use the first half an hour of my day or 1 hour just learning how to fight. I find life kind of like boxing. You have to learn how to miss punches, how to punch, how to bob and weave. And I think that's something that was really sunk in my head, that you need to view life like that. Doing business is tough. I wouldn't tell anyone that this is something you want to dive into. It gets challenging, frustrating sometimes. Understanding that actually makes you a bit resistant to hard times. For instance, someone like me, I have, in a random month, business has been bad. And come end month, I have 21 employees to pay salaries. Facilities like this to pay rent for. I have my house. I have a lot of stuff to pay. And how do I get through a difficult time? I must come up with a way, what I would call the counter punch. If life is punching me, I have to find a way of punching it. I have to think, what do I need to do? You must find a way of punching and missing punches. Actually, that's my trainer who said that. Consult. I think it's good to consult professionals if you can. I've had several people come to consult me on the business I do. They got one advantage after consulting me. I warned them on what not to do. And that's the same idea they wanted to do, and they were going to do it all wrong, and they were going to lose their money. So if you consult, it can help you avoid, but you're still going to get punched, that's for sure. But you can avoid some big punches that could probably take you down. Structures. I think this is one of the most important things that any person who is in business, not just who's starting business, even who is in business, because in Kenya we have very many very small businesses. If I learned this a couple of years ago, I'd be far than where I am. Structures. Get your structures right. Get a system, probably a management information system that captures your data. You're able to get good communication systems, get a functional accounting system. I ran this company initially without a lot of systems. I lost so much money. You won't believe how much I lost. I don't know how much I lost because I had no system to account of how much I was making. And that was one of the hard lessons I got punched with. And kindly, incorporate your business. It's a good thing to do if you can. Especially if you are doing a business, a small business, or you've started a small business and it looks like it's going somewhere. Stop doing the business name. Incorporate the business. The fact that you've incorporated is going to put you pressure to actually put better structures. And then offload. Offloading means devolve equity, sell shares. There's no big company that is owned by one person. Do you know how much percentage Bill Gates owns in Microsoft? I'm going to tell you, 5%. If you are to look at what Chris Kirubi owns in all the companies that he owns, it's talking of percentages of 5%, 10% here, 30% there, 40% in good case scenarios. That has taught me a lesson that you're not going to grow your company by owning it yourself. And we have that problem in our young people and in Kenya, and most everyone, so many of the guys who are doing business think that way. They want to have 100% control of the company, and the company does not grow. It's not well capitalized and not well financed. You know, a company like Safaricom, when they were getting started, I think that was in late 90s. If you had money and probably spoke to them and they agreed to sell to you part of it at that time, you probably would have paid not so much and probably get some percentage. And 10 years later, you see what it is. That's what offloading is about. Though I haven't offloaded yet, I intend to do that in the nearest future. If I offload 40% and we get a good valuation of the business, it means we're going to get capital of several million shillings, which we're going to have more branches, we're going to have better infrastructure, we're going to have better everything, we're going to have more professional management. Learn those corporate theatrics. The biggest misconception that the youth have about money is that it's influenced by other forces other than themselves. The reason you don't have money is because you're from a background that does not have the money, or the reason you don't have money is because the government is doing ABCD. The reason you don't have money is because who else did what. That's a very lost idea, and I would ask young people at this point to stop being lazy. Young people, someone who is muscled and someone who can do stuff and someone who has a brain, doing pretty much nothing the whole day for days on end and being broke at the end of the month. What did you expect? That was what is going to happen. You do nothing, you get nothing. Money is about you. It's about what you do. You have to create value. You have to be different. Fight your competition. You have to fight. Meaning you have to learn how to look for the money. You have to learn how to miss losing the money. And unfortunately, I would say, you might do something and still get nothing. But what cuts the difference is you doing something consistently and suffering for it and getting frustrated and still staying there and punching on, becoming hard and saying, I have to succeed in this, and doing everything that you can and actually succeeding in the end. And that's what makes a difference. Do what it takes, work hard and make ends meet and make money. Now that makes sense than saying, we are broke because I don't know, the county government has not, repaired which road. I hope that they do repair the roads and function correctly. But I'm not going to give that as an excuse why I won't have a good turnover next month. I recently was speaking to my mom and she said, if we are going to do any investment, the only thing we can do is to buy land. We can't venture into a risky business because of our age. But I think it's sad when a young person thinks that way. When you think like an old person who doesn't want to take risks. And I think everyone in Kenya who has ventured into business has lost money. I tried beauty and cosmetics and stuff, and I lost every investment I put in there. And I learned how to lose. So I think for a young person, you have the chance to take risks because of your age. You can take risk. If you lose all your money, you have the time to try and make more and take another risk. We have a Facebook group called Kamata. And at that group, I share ideas on probably some of the experiences I've had in business. And in my recent posts, I've said, especially Kenyans, we really, really are opinionated in the sense that we think that what we think is the ultimate. We think that the ideas you have in your head is what the government is lacking to run. And it's often very, very wrong thinking, as I have learned. Because I've ventured into businesses with the same thinking, that I have my ideas, it's theoretical, it's hypothetical, and I'm thinking, once I get in here, I'm going to make this much, this is the strategy I'm going to use, it's going to work this way. And you get inside only to learn that everything you thought was wrong. That's not how the market responds, that's not how. So it's important to learn by doing. Out of the 100 ways that you'll try to succeed, probably 90 are going to fail, but you're going to learn at least 10 ways in which you can get somewhere. And it means you have to think and you have to stretch yourself a little. You have to be a bit aggressive. You have to work hard. And then that way you can be able to fix your issues. So I think it's time that young people actually did something, made it work, and now they can give an opinion on that thing that is working that they've done.
Times ni hard, ndio maana pockets ni empty. Ka promises za MP, mi wana masonko na wa envy. Like that should be me, but nothing's easy. Lazima weke BD. I was told patience pays, but sijaipata your check. Since time waits for no man, inabidi nianze kuchase. I tighten my lace, halafu naingia rat race. Eyes on the price, so I increase my pace. Huku Nairobi, everyone's trying to get paid, and I'm no exception. Paper chasing all seasons, including recession. Money on my mind every second. Driven by ambition, always on a mission. It's like I'm playing Monopoly in real life with no dice, trying to increase my digits. So I double my singles, triple my doubles, square my triples, then I repeat. If you feel the same way.